His signature is on the plans for the gas chambers of Auschwitz. His tunnels swallowed tens of thousands of prisoners, worked to death in the dark. And when it was finished, the SS called his work a unique achievement. This is the story of the engineer who built the machinery of death. This is Nazi Leaks. April 1945. Thuringia. An American armored column rolls into a town called Nordhausen and stops. Not because of resistance, because of what is lying in the street. They find the living among the dead, men who weigh less than 40 kilos, too weak to stand. The soldiers carry them out one at a time, and they keep asking the same question. Where did you come from? The answer makes no sense to them. From inside the mountain. A few kilometers away, they find it, a tunnel mouth in a hillside wide enough to drive a locomotive into. It is on no map they were given. No briefing had mentioned it. They walk in with flashlights. And what they find inside is not a bunker. It is a factory. Kilometers of galleries cut through solid rock, assembly lines, machine tools still in position, rocket sections lying where they were left, and in the side galleries, wooden frames, 4 levels high, bunks. People had been living in here. One of the men filming this is a Hollywood director, George Stevens. He is here on orders to record everything in case anyone should ever claim it had not happened. This is his footage. It took the Allies months to establish what this place had been. Roughly 60,000 prisoners had passed through it. At least 20,000 did not come out. The tunnels were the workplace. The tunnels were also the accommodation. The tunnels were the grave. But a hole like this does not appear by accident. Someone chose the mountain. Someone approved the layout. Someone signed off on how many men would sleep in the rock and for how long. This episode is not about what the Americans found. It is about the paperwork behind it and the man whose name is on it. This is the plan the Allies captured, living conditions in the tunnels of Dora, drawn before the first prisoner arrived. 2 main tunnels were driven straight through the mountain, Tunnel A and Tunnel B, each more than 300 meters long. And in the galleries between them, 4 barrack blocks, B1, B2, B3, B4. Each block held sleeping accommodation for 1,024 prisoners. Do the arithmetic. More than 4,000 human beings stacked in bunks inside the rock. No daylight, a single air shaft, latrine buckets in the tunnel, the dying left in a corner marked Sick Patients Room, and machine gun posts covering the exits. And a few hundred meters from where the prisoners were dying, the rocket engineers had their offices. Wernher von Braun and his team, the men who would one day design the journey to the moon, built their rockets on a factory floor of slaves. This was not a shelter. It was a machine, engineered to work men to death underground, out of sight of the world. We know the numbers because they wrote them down every single day. In Accommodation Gusen, the SS logged each death to the minute. A man who died at 5:20 in the morning, another at 6:15, named, numbered, filed. And at the bottom of every page, a second count, underground. The rocket work, the jet fuselages, all of it inside the mountain. 3,000 in August, 4,000 2 weeks later. And by September, the line disappears. The camp and the mine had become the same thing. 18,500 under the earth. In November 1944, the SS's own chief hygienist put it in writing. Housing people underground had failed, as was to be expected. Henceforth, he wrote, the SS would never build living quarters below ground. The man who signed that letter, Joachim Mrugowski, would hang after Nuremberg. And even as he wrote it, his own organization had 18,000 people in the rock at Gusen. The contradiction ran deeper. In the very same files, a scientist from the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute assessed the same underground works for the German workers. His prescription, warm, ventilated sleeping quarters, daylight hours above ground, and where the sun could not reach, quote, ultraviolet irradiation units are certainly advisable. A solarium, vitamin-rich food. That was the standard for the workers. For the prisoners, a prison administration had written it plainly. The health and the life of a single convict is not essential. Two classes of human being in one folder. A mining official tried to do his duty, to report the deaths of prisoners as the law had demanded since 1865. Kammler's staff shut him down. Deaths were to be reported to the SS alone, no one else, and the order carried a name, General Dr. Kammler, in sole command of the underground works. And when it was over, a dying camp commandant confessed. He had been handed a trainload of dynamite to seal the Gusen tunnel with the prisoners still inside. The only witness taking notes was a prisoner, a photographer. His name was Francesc Boy. And Boix wrote down what the commandant described, a plan, a tunnel 7 kilometers from Nordhausen with a double railway track. The train would roll inside, the tunnel would be sealed, and gas released. 2,500 to 4,000 people in a single train, tipped straight into ovens. The commandant said the gas chamber itself was never finished, rejected, he claimed, for a lack of materials. But the rail line to the site was laid, and the crematoria that vanished from Auschwitz have never been found. Some doors the archive leaves open, and over all of it, the tunnels, the camps, the schedule, stood one man, not the commandant, Kammler. And the machinery of murder did move. In January 1945, as the Red Army closed on Auschwitz, the camp was stripped. Its prisoners marched west toward Mauthausen and Gusen, its equipment loaded onto trains. What became of all of it has never been fully accounted for. Some of it, the record says, went into the mountains, and there the trail goes cold. There was one more secret in the rock. Beneath the camp itself, a hidden factory, one the commandant was not even allowed to enter. Inside, from the papers and the money of the murdered, they forged documents for the Gestapo across Europe. And in that same block was a French prisoner, a chemist named Jacques Bergier, who would survive and testify to what he had seen inside the mountain. The workers were given a life expectancy of 3 months. Build the secret. Then bury the ones who knew it. And all of it, every tunnel, every hidden works, ran under one command, Kammler's. Here rose the camp that would become the symbol of industrial murder, Auschwitz-Birkenau. And its machinery of killing did not just cross his desk. In episode 1, you heard that it was his idea to shorten the walk from the ramp to the gas chamber. Here is the paper. The construction drawings for the crematoria at Birkenau from the SS Central Building Office. This is the approval line, and this is the name on it. Not an order he passed on, a design he signed. How close was he to the top? A historian went through Heinrich Himmler's own appointment diary, and one name surfaces again and again and again. Kammler, reporting in person to the most powerful man in the SS. And his masters were delighted. In writing, Himmler called Kammler's work, quote, a unique achievement in this field, delivered ahead of schedule in spite of every obstacle. Signed, Heinrich Himmler. And the reward came in writing, not for a battle, for construction output. While the men in his tunnels were dying at a rate his own staff logged to the minute, his file recorded a promotion. On his resume, all of this read as efficiency. And Dora was not the only mountain. In the hills of Lower Silesia, around Waldenburg, the SS drove one of the largest secret projects of the entire war into the rock. Codename Riese, the Giant. 7 vast sites, kilometers of tunnels dug by the prisoners of gross-rosen. thousands of whom died in the stone. And to this day, no one can say for certain what it was for. It was never finished, never explained. And the list of these places survived in a Soviet archive in Moscow, not a rumor. A German ledger, site by site, code name by code name. Berkristall, Richard, Malachit, Ordruf, Heigerloch. Dozens of entries. The Allies had the list in 1945. Most of the sites were never opened. And one thing on that list has never been accounted for: the machinery from Auschwitz, dismantled in January 1945, loaded onto trains, sent west towards these mountains. It was never found.